think it means is like going out and exploring, figuring out stuff.
Hi, I'm Rebecca. I'm an informal environmental educator. For my National Geographic Educator Certification Capstone, I wanted to explore how sparking curiosity can lead to caring about the planet. Nature journaling and citizen science are both fun ways to connect people to the natural world, so I wanted to find a way to bring them together. I decided to create a lesson that would highlight the unique capabilities of Zoom and do what we never could do in person. Have students all over the United States learning together and comparing what they find in the ecosystems where they live. I based the lesson on the Becoming Plant Detectives lesson plan from Project Budburst, which I found through the National Geographic resource Citizen Science Projects. The students learned about phenology, which is the study of the timing of plant and animal life cycles throughout the year. We discussed some of the human, cultural, and ecological implications of phenology, including Mayan agroforestry and festivals based on phenology, such as the Cherry Blossom Festival in Washington, D.C.
I think phenology can help farmers decide when to plant the crops or when to harvest them.
I think they would want to learn about plants because animals need plants to live, so they would want to learn about plants to be able to help animals.
I modified the lesson plan by adding a section about nature journaling and how we can use nature journaling to do science and investigate the world around us. My goal by doing this was to spark curiosity through more of an open-ended sensed exploration, before focusing in on the specific data gathering protocols of the Citizen Science Project. In between lessons, the students went out on their own to observe a plant near them and what was happening at the local scale. They all displayed an attitude of curiosity and the skill of observation by sharing what they noticed and by asking interesting questions.
Why is it called horsetail? And why does it look so funny? I also asked, does it need shade to grow? And why do they come in groups? And does it need plants around it to grow?
And what's very interesting is that it came from this tiny little pod, and then the flowers I could tell came out first, and then they popped open, and then out came the leaves from that.
The students compared their observations on a spatial scale across the US. In Alaska, it was still very snowy and there weren't any plants growing. But farther south, the students observed that spring was coming along. We then learned about how nature journals from the past have allowed scientists to figure out how the climate has been changing over time.
If the scientists make a discovery, then they can look 100 years later and see what has happened in that time and what has changed.
But not only can scientists monitor how things are changing, they can use citizen science to make a difference by applying what they've learned to their decision-making process. This adds a political perspective. I showed the students a few examples, focusing in on an invasive species case study from Midway Atoll National Wildlife Refuge, which is an example I found from the National Phenology Network. I made a simplified phenology calendar based on the real data, and asked the students to use their problem-solving skills to figure out how they could use this information to take better care of the refuge by making science-based decisions.
What if you had a mower with the thing that picked up, had a bag, so I'd put all of them in, and you'd go around at a certain time of year when the seeds were just about to fall off everything, like a week before that, and you mowed it all down. That way all the seeds wouldn't grow.
Yeah, I think you should either track seeds or the buds, because seeds and buds, you can keep track of them, and then later when you want to get rid of them, you'll know how and what time they'll grow back, and you can find a way to get rid of them.
I think it would be best to do it during the green time because the flowers are just budding and you can't make any new seeds to grow more.
I think both of them have their pros and cons. For green, yes, we would be getting rid of most of them, but some seeds could still be in the ground if some were slower.
At the end, I introduced the students to other citizen science projects they might be interested in trying in the future. I usually teach for a wide age range, so I found it useful to use the learning framework to focus on specific objectives for this class, which was for ages 8 to 10. The students learned that everyone is part of a scientific community. They got to participate in a real-life investigation where nobody knows the real answers yet. They learned that paying attention to something really small can lead to a big impact. Thank you for listening.